Happy Friday, Millbrook. It is the second week of Advent, and as we celebrate this season of God coming into our world as a human, we are out here filming these Friday videos in our world, in beautiful areas in the Triangle area. And so this week, we are here in Duke Gardens. This has become kind of a happy place for me. I live just a few blocks away, and I come here often to think, to pray, and to just enjoy this beautiful creation. This week, we're going to continue on talking about the 4 names that are given for the coming Messiah in Isaiah 8. So last week, we talked about how Jesus is the wonderful counselor, and this week, we're going to talk about how Jesus is mighty God. When Jews would think about the coming Messiah, the coming king, they would think about this king as acting so closely with God and so closely related to God that it could be said that the king was acting on God's behalf. Now, in the Christian church, we proclaim that not only was Jesus acting on God's behalf, but Jesus was God. God become human in the person of Jesus. Now, specifically, this name talks about Jesus as the mighty God, and it talks about Jesus' power as coming from a divine source, coming from God himself. And this is a different way, I think, of talking about power than what we normally think of when we think of power in our society. Now, I want to read a passage from John's Gospel, which I think illustrates this really well. At this point in John's Gospel, Jesus is before Pilate, and he's on trial. Pilate is an official in the Roman Empire, the mightiest, most powerful empire of the day. And as Pilate is asking Jesus about Jesus' identity and Jesus' kingdom, Jesus says this: "My kingdom doesn't originate from this world. If it did, my guards would fight so that I wouldn't have been arrested by the Jewish leaders. My kingdom isn't from here." See, instead of Jesus' kingdom and Jesus' power coming from a strong military or lots of money or high status, Jesus had a different kind of power. He didn't have a strong military. In fact, he was famously nonviolent. He didn't amass large sums of money, and he actually challenged the people who did. And he didn't have this high status. Even though people loved him, he died a shameful death as a criminal on a cross. Jesus' power was a different kind of power. It was the power to bring resurrection life where there is death, where there is no hope. As we're out here in this garden in December, I think this is a fitting picture. This is still a beautiful place, but there's a lot of brown and a lot of yellow. There's a lot of death in this garden. But come springtime, there will be an explosion of life and of color. There will be luscious green in the trees and in the plants and in the flowers here, and it'll be a beautiful place. This is the kind of power that Jesus' kingdom comes with. And so my encouragement for us as we go into our week in this Advent season is to think about this life-giving power that worked through Jesus, but also works through us with the Holy Spirit. And how can we participate in God's life-giving work in the world around us?